It's slowing down. It's going over Linda's house. Now it's going over your house. It's taking its time. Hey, it's gonna do it in a Here we go. Next. And I am ready to record. Pass it to you, Mandy. Are you you're on mute.
Well, can you do it from your end, Joni? Because Dov is still unmuted from where I see.
I got it.
Yeah.
From John. I got John.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then if you, oh, you're going to be playing that music, aren't you, Joni? So, does that come through your thing or?
It's gonna come as soon as I hit the share button. So are
Okay.
you ready for me to share the poem?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Hear it now.
Thank you. I am simply being a tree. Now, it's just sounding. I tell you what, Joni, I think we'll do it without the music. It's just sounding a bit shaky. That's it. Sorry, Joni. I don't think that's going to work, but thanks anyway. If you just don't just stick the poem up without the music. Great. Thank you. So it's called I Am Simply Being a Tree. I am simply being a tree. I am neither good nor bad. I am simply being a tree. I'm neither happy or sad. I don't worry about having apples next year. I'm simply being a tree. I have no fear. God in the midst of me maintains my leaves. And when they drop, I don't suspect thieves. I let them go, knowing they will come again. Their leaving my branches causes me no pain, nor do I anguish about the wind, snow, or rain. I'm simply a tree. So I don't mourn if my fruit gets eaten by people or birds. If they decay, I'm not beaten. Nor am I proud when new fruit appears. This cycle of full and empty, it's been going on for years. I'm solid in my trunk, with roots deep in the ground. And in my stillness, I'm free and unbound. On my branches sit squirrels and birds who rest. They may even use my twigs to make a nest. But I have no preference. I make no choice. I simply witness. I have no voice. I'm simply a tree. And I just stand here. All is taken care of. I don't interfere. My fruit comes and goes. The season flows. How I fruit and blossom is in God's domain. He in the midst of me is always the same. I don't worry that my apples may become pears. None of this is any of my affairs. I am simply a tree, and I just stand here. And somehow my apples always appear. You are welcome to stand by me and take your fill, or rest up against me. Feel my peace and be still. Thank you, Joni. That was inspired to just do that right at the end. That's lovely. It worked better than having it behind the poem. The sometimes, and there's so many different ways, aren't there, of how a truth can really penetrate, so that the penny drops, because we've all read things about truth for years and years and years, and suddenly, in the simplest moment, a penny drops, doesn't it? And it's something you've read over and over. You know the truth, you can spout it to everybody, but somehow there's a day when it just goes boing, isn't it? And it just goes right in. And there are many different ways of studying, aren't there? I mean, there's reading, there's having an audio book, there's watching a YouTube recording, there's meditating, of course, one of the best ways. But for me, sometimes what happens doing the poetry, and I really, really recommend it because it really goes in. For me, it works this way, is that let's say I'm listening to a Joel Goldsmith record. I mean, I think I've heard all Joel Goldsmith's recordings over and over again because I've listened to them for so many years and read his books, and I'm such a fan of Joel Goldsmith. But he'll just say a line sometimes, just one line, and it's something usually so simple, and it just pops out. And that's what happened with this poem yes, it must have been yesterday, yeah, Saturday or Sunday. And I can't remember the one. I think it's that called Attaining Consciousness. Oh, hang on, that wasn't on silent. That's right. Attaining Consciousness. And towards the end, he just says, I mean, take a tree. It just stands there. It's got no judgment. And so then what I do is I hear something, and for some reason it just goes pop, and then I turn the tape off and I just sit, and like I'm sure we all do, but this is how it get. I'm just describing my process, and it just so grabs me, that the simplicity that it expands into a poem, and I just have to write a poem about it, and I just wait for the divine inspiration. And I thought deeply about being a tree and all that goes with being a tree. And just that sentence, it just stands there. Even the word stand, it it just stands there. But all this activity's going on within it. It has meat that the world knows not of, as it says in the Bible. It has everything that it needs. It is maintained by that mighty presence that's in the midst of it. It's the same, it's us, that tree, of course, it's the same as us. And so that's how that tree evolves. And what I've done is I've made a little recording just in case any of you would like it. And I can send it by email. And and I'm just reading the poem out straight. And then, just like Joni did, I've got that same music in the background for maybe 5 minutes or so. And then I read it again in a much more slower and meditative way. And so the whole thing is about 10 minutes. So I'll just send it out if you would like to have it. But I've played it to one or two friends that in the last day or two, and they've just loved it, you see. But I'm just given these things. So, but I just wanted to say before anybody just says it's their process. I mean, I hope you like the poem. You can say anything, of course, about the poem or not, but also it's nice to hear people's process of how the truth goes in. So that's mine. I'll hear a line and I write a poem, and I really recommend it. Is trying it that way because it really goes in when you have to stop, and you have to also think about lines that rhyme, which is much harder than rhymes that don't, lines that don't rhyme. Um, yeah, so there we are. I shall leave it there. And thank you for listening, everyone.
Mandy, is the poem in your book?
No, that isn't in my book, you see, because um, this is what I mean. The truth is always fresh and new, isn't it? So sometimes it will strike me, and I'll send a poem to Joni and say, "Can we do this one this week?" And it might be one that we have done before. Well, probably chances are that we have done it before. But I'm just finding that I feel so incredibly grateful to Joni and to Lynn and to all of you, because for me, having this incredible, precious opportunity for us to be together, for me, it really is bringing truth. I mean, it's not just a one-off for me. It kind of lasts week after week. It evolves. I sort of ask God, what will the poem be for Monday? And I don't know usually till literally on the Saturday or Sunday. It always happens. It rarely gives it me in advance, which would be useful. It's always at the last minute. But somehow doing this Zoom every Monday, it just is inspiring me so much that I keep getting these new poems arising. And I'm so very grateful to you all. Thank you so much. And Joni and Lynn, I'm really grateful. And Lynn spreads it to everybody, and it's amazing. And Joni helps me so much put it together. And you all come week after week, which is just fantastic. Because I just learned so much from everybody's comments. So I do love your input. Please speak if you have anything to say. Hmm. Oh,
Rafi,
Rafi
Rafi has his
hand
hand
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reminder that everything is perfect the way it is. Everything is happening exactly the way it is, or total acceptance of what is going on. And the poem reminded me of that perfectly, and then added to it the truth that we are divinely guided, divinely provided for, divinely protected to our highest good. And then the last word of the poem, just be still. Okay, you can add to that, be still and know that I am, be still and know that I am God, be still and know that I am consciousness, be still and know that I am. But it was all in the poem, and it came jumping out. So these constant reminders of what we are, or what I am, is how what I am not, ego, body, mind, thoughts, feeling, gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So thank you so much. This was great.
Oh, thank you, Rafi. Thank you so much. Thank you. And John, you've got your hand up, John, but you're muted. Oh, that's okay.
Joni was before me, I think. Oh, it
Oh,
isn't.
were you, Joni? Sorry, Joni. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. No, it fell off. No problem, John. Go ahead. And I was going to ask you technically, John, are you getting the captions you asked for before?
Um, I didn't check them, but I don't think so.
Okay, we can talk later.
Yeah.
All right, I'll wait after you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mandy, I really enjoyed the program, to the poem too, and to answer your question, how things land for me, I think it really speaks to something that's inside a person, because I always remember when I was in my concept therapy class that I was taught that spirit loves stuff that rhymes, because it goes in. If it rhymes, it just seems to penetrate further. And how this came for me today, which is really what I want to report, because I'm on this tree thing. I watched Anastasia. I don't know if you know that, the story of the Siberian cedar trees and the consciousness that's in them. So that's very fresh. I just watched that this weekend. So your poem is really live and speaking to me right now at this period. But the thing about rhyming is, it came to me, Joan, Mandy, is that I'm starting to catch on now, because as soon as I came on, I heard Lynn was saying about, you can't trust them. You can't trust this technology. You can't trust Zoom and all this. We talk about not trusting stuff. And I jumped to, I think I don't like to hear that. I want to learn what I can trust, but then I'm really realize what a gift that is, because what rhymes with trust? It rhymes with it. And I'm thinking about that and saying, what I must rhymes with trust. So it sends me to where, what I must do. And what must I do? I must bust. So I really need people to wake me up, to find out where I need to be busting, where I must be busting myself on things. So I'm grateful to just a reminder, that it's an easy step. I can do bust my own ideas when other people are allowing to me. So thanks, Lynn, for that. And it's really an example of how anybody could be encouraged in rule breaking or criminal activity or chaos or anything, anarchy, and still find the treasure in them if they're open to that. If they're open to finding, oh my God, I wonder what that rhymes with, and then that brings you back to the tree, like it's apples from apples, and it's just such a beautiful thing just to be in that rhythm, rhyming, and it's really like a law of rhythm, it just keeps swinging. So I'm swinging with the program today. Thank you very much for everybody who brings here and for everything that they bring. It's so exciting on Monday morning to be here with you guys.
It is exciting. Thank you, John. Then Joni, where's she gone?
Yeah, it's
yeah. I think it keeps changing. You see, I get you. There you are.
It changes when I speak, then it drops off after a certain time. So sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to say two things. One is, as far as process, what I love about the iambic pentamic and the rhythm, or that nursery rhyme, da 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 da, it is kind of like humming for me. It helps to slow the ego voice down. And I wanted to also add on to this, the work I do helps to remind me and excite me to join and be prepared. And what I did then, I noticed as I look and hear often, to go to God first, to rely on spirit totally, I'm noticing that that's taking up more of my energy, and it's more of my moment, and I'm enjoying the flow more. And it's giving the ego a rest. I'm willing to do that, relax the mind, release the thoughts, and let go. And the more I do that, the more I feel in the neutrality of it, that I can connect with the present moment and be here. So I'm grateful for the process. I'm grateful for adding on to the gratitude that this focus on Mondays, as we are in the world and not of the world, it brings us. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mandy.
Yeah, well, Journey, I'm really glad you brought that point up, because sometimes, I run these power poem workshops so everybody can have a go at doing them, of which many people here have done with me. But the thing is that I've got a list of there's so many there's so many good reasons for rhyming poem, but the one that I hadn't put on was what you just said, that there's something extremely calming about it, that while you're actually involved in looking for a rhyme and listening to a rhyme, it does what a nursery rhyme does. That's why we have nursery rhymes, because it nurtures the child, the baby, da 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 da, and it turns off the mind. So that's great. That's another point that I'll add in my list of why we should rhyme poems. So thank you for that. Oh, and then we've got Linda. Hi, Linda.
I love the poem. I love the image of the tree because not only does it have roots that go down into the earth, but it also has branches that go up into the sky. And just the description that you put in the poem of how it's witnessing life. You can sense the life happening around it as it, but it just being there in its stillness. And so I just love it. And I just want to make sure I actually get a copy of it that, because I don't think I'm actually on your mailing list. I'm on Lynn's list. So anyway, I just loved it. And I just loved everything that everybody shared. It's just a wonderful experience. And that's how I'm experiencing it. And my whole body is just vibrating with joy at this moment. So
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. That's great. Oh, you definitely straight after, within an hour of this finishing, I'll send the email out with the recording on that I've done of it as well. And and then when I finished writing the poem, I saw this beautiful little robin just perched on the tree, as if he was saying, "Yes, well, I'm perching on my, on the tree." And anyway, it was really sweet. Oh, Rich. Hi, Rich. You've got your hand.
Rich, bitch, bo bitch, banana, banana, bo bitch, fee, fi, fo, Mitch, Rich. Couple of things. One, maybe you remind everybody there was that website in the class where you look up rhyming words.
Rhyme Zone. Yes, it's an app.
And that'll be a huge help. And also, a lot of times I will make up my own word that conveys the emotion I wish to convey. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the iambic pentameter is very hypnotic. And so you can say that it's robotic, but it can also be mnemotic. And I don't wish to make anyone psychotic.
Oh, Rich, that's great. I love that. Yeah, that's another word as well. Yeah, it is. It's hypnotic, definitely. I love the idea of making sounds because I'm really into sounds. I started off my life making sounds, and then I remember I was even on television just once doing having pans and bottles and things with different water levels and just making a lot of noise on telly. Anyway, I love the idea of sound and making up sounds that go with the emotion, and there's some words that are just, it might not have a very nice meaning, but the sound of the word is amazing, like squalid. Squalid really kind of says what it is. There's something about that word, and so we can get so creative when we're writing poetry, because like you were just saying, it's so useful what you just said. You don't actually have to find the right word. You could make your own word that emotes.
It's like Dr. Seuss. I mean, he would use words in a way that we all would connect with. That, like a Grinch. There was no Grinch until he invented the word. Maybe there was, I don't know, but it became really popular in the lexicon of speech since then. And if you look at any one of his books, I mean, there are tons of like yeggs or all that stuff that didn't exist, but he said, well, there's no word for that, and so to go do it. And also there's the essence of words that start with the same letter twice, or any of those conventions help.
But I like it because, like you say, oh, sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm good.
No, it was just that And a lot of that's been done in the realm of children's books. But what I like the idea of what you've made me think is that you can use this if you're writing a spiritual poem or a more, if you like, grown-up poem. It doesn't have to be just in the realm of children doing it. And then I think that's really expressive. So thanks so much for that,
Yeah,
Rick.
look at the words like mem, like or meme, right? I mean, these are words that didn't really exist in our language, but there's been a whole bunch of new words like LOL or da da da, stuff that you can create that somebody obviously did.
Thank you. Lovely. Yeah, Journey.
I just want to bring to our attention, we live in a time where we're so blessed to have the sciences, and they're doing a lot of work and experimenting or whatever on the sound healings. Gaia, the streaming service, has a series right now about the benefits of sound healing. And going back to my architecture Catholic training, Gregorian chants were believed not only to heal the body and bring down anxiety. Well, what is anxiety or depression? Is not being in the present moment. And in architecture, when people sang in the Gregorian chants in the cathedrals, it was also combining the sounds that those beautiful buildings have with the eye lifting up to the spirituality. It's so music and architecture and spirituality was to raise us above our earthly problems, or basically we're now saying our ego control, and to allow us to experience the inspiration or the connection or the flow of God through all of these spiritual tools that we are we're rediscovering, or I'm rediscovering, because this is helpful. And it also soothes the physical body, when that whole mind body connection, is allowing us to heal in so many ways that support our connection to God. And the opposite of the pain, the physical distractions, all of that is a separation away from God. So yes, sound healing and those bowls and chanting and all the beautiful instruments that and the human voice is all for our healing. And I'm pretty sure if when Dove tells us all the time, you can't think, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Do you want to be listening to the ego or do you want to listen to the music and the love and the extension that all of that is in the world that we are not of?
Well, absolutely. And when I used to do sound healing, I used to use the solfeggio sounds, which were secret sounds, like in the realm of the Gregorian chants. But we've all heard of the solfeggio, like 528. There's certain things, 528 being the sound of DNA and everything, and you can create incredible healing through that. Anyway, Lynn, yes, hi, Lynn. Thanks, Joni, yeah, great. I love what you said.
Oh, I love this conversation. I had to step away for a couple minutes because Sandy came home and she needs to eat breakfast before she goes to bed. I love this conversation. And what I do a lot in my meditation is I just sit and listen to everything, because like right now I hear a like a kind of hissy kind of sound coming from this direction, different things coming from different. Just sit and be quiet and listen to the sounds that are around you, and the sounds that your body is making, the sounds that your heart, you can hear your heart beating. You can, if you really sit still enough, you can connect to the sound of the universe, which is what we are, universe, one song. So when 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 we raise ourselves through raising our vibration, through all the things that we do, prayer, chanting, meditation, joining with others, all the things that we're doing that are raising our vibration. Sound is a vibration. We are a vibration. Everything, an atom, there's not like a single thing that is a molecule or an atom. This is energy that's vibrating at a certain level. And all the energy is vibrating at certain levels. And what happens when we join in this way is we connect to the universal sound, the song of God that we're all a part of in harmony. So, this idea of working and dealing with sound is so helpful, because it we just don't realize how much it affects our state of being and how much our state of being affects the world. And once we can get that connection, like you did with that tree, which I had to do a screenshot so I can have that poem to look at again, right away before it's sent out, whatever. You heard it, you hear it. And it's just so beautiful. So thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me share. And I will mute my mic.
Oh, that's lovely. Absolutely. It's I mean, yeah, your name, of course, is a vibration, and it's a vibration that plays upon the soul. And I just think this whole area of sound is just so incredibly interesting, because I used to find years ago that if somebody gave me, maybe they were talking about a friend, and before they tell me any facts, if they just gave me the name of the friend, particularly if they had the whole name, like the middle name, last name, I would just suddenly get all these impressions. And I used to wonder, and then I, reflect back to this person. Is this person, do they do this? Are they like this? And the other person would be amazed, you see, and say, oh wow, you've got her exactly. And how have you done that? And I remember thinking, how do I do this? How do I keep somebody will give me a name and I get all this information? And then I realized that, like you were saying, I just must be very, very tuned in to vibration, because every vibration, because I'm a synesthete, which I've told you before, where everything that I hear and everything that I see everything is in color for me. So I'm very attuned to these sounds. And what you were saying, Lynn, it's so important. And because even if you're a person that thinks you can't meditate, if you do just sit and do what you were saying and just listen to the sounds for a while, eventually if you just sit for a few more minutes than you think you can sit, everything calms down, and it can switch, and suddenly you're so deep, aren't you? I love it when it switches, and wow.
Exactly. And that's clairaudience. It's one of the clairaudience, and we hear. And that's, I used to always kind of freak people out because I could hear their thoughts. But it was not like I was hearing their thoughts. I heard them saying what they were going to say before they said it. I could, I could hear, it was like they were whispering it under their breath or something. But it's clairaudience, and it does come from just deep listening. So yeah, and you can hear this, the song of the universe, you know, it's here.
But I'm sorry, John. I can see that you are. I just want to say to Lynn, actually, because I just found this. I think I mentioned this the other week, that once I went to, well, quite a few times I've been to this place in England called Parsival Hall, which is a very, very, very old church diocese place. It's like a monastery kind of place. It's about from the 13th century, and it's very haunted. It's a bit eerie. Oh, it's lovely. But when I've stayed there, it's so quiet. It's like a quietness that you can almost hear. It's like the quietness is so solid. It's like the quietness itself is made of stone. And do you know what? I could not meditate in that place. It was every time I've gone there, that's the one place I can't meditate. It's almost it's as silent as the grave. It's beyond silence. So it's strange that I could meditate in the middle of a busy town centre or at a party. The sound doesn't, but when it is dead quiet, dead quiet, like literally dead quiet, that's where I've had problems. So that's been a strange thing. I don't understand that, but there we go. So sound and not sound. I mean, that's good news in a way, because it means that we don't have to always think that we have to go to a cave in the Himalayas, and it doesn't have to be all precious and quiet for us to hear God. We can actually hear God whenever we just choose to open our ears and listen. So it doesn't have to be in the quietest place, which is quite useful. Anyway, John, hi John, what were we going to say?
Yeah, thanks for that. Because for me, Mandy, it's like that's like you reach your wall. It's like a sort of what do you call that when you're it's a boundary that you reached, and but doesn't mean to say that's the end of it. It's just where you are right now, and the creativity can cut. It's a stepping stone for your next journey from that very place. And that's what I'm finding here today, because just listening to, I think it's a creativity thing online here, and like it's creativity in action. And listening to Lynn talking about, and I grabbed again one of her words, which is about listen, and I'm thinking, oh, this is my springboard now. Listen, what rhymes with that, and then I got the word glisten, and and I think, oh yeah, boy, now I'm talking trees again. I'm glistening off those the sun rays or whatever. But then what's beyond glisten? And it just keeps on going, that because now I got mission, and and it's really an example of creativity in action. And I think just being in this crowd and having you as our exemplar, and in terms of this, sparks that, it sparks that. And it's really it's a trancy thing. It's going just deeper and deeper, like in that church, Percival, where who the hell knows where this is going to wind up? I have no idea, but it's just it doesn't matter really. But it's a journey that's exciting, because we're up against our walls everywhere we go, and it's about expansion. Like where's this going to take me? And it's very exciting. I would like to mention one thing, Joni. The chat is disabled today, and I don't know whether that's my
No,
chat.
that's my choice. That's my choice. And the
Oh,
reason sorry. That's
that's
not
okay.
joy. I don't like having the chat there because of the very thing you just said, the word that I find that this is quite a trancy session. I like the way that it goes like this. I like that sometimes we drop into silence. And if I'm reading the poem or I'm thinking about something, the chat box in my peripheral vision is constantly flickering when people are leaving messages, and I just find it a constant distraction. That's my my autistic way. There's some things that I just can't deal with, and one is so whenever I've had my own Zooms, I've always disabled the chat box, not for any reason or wanting to control anybody's communication. Please don't think it's that. It's just because I just find it distracting. Sorry.
That's okay. I just thought there was something wrong. That's all. It's a new thing as it just appeared today. But
Well,
I understand perfectly, because who the hell's not autistic at some degree? So
before Marriott, John, I would just say, yes, I'm having tech withdrawals with not having the chat. So
Withdrawal symptoms. Oh, right, Mary, you have your hand up. Hi.
Thank you for disabling the chat. I love that, Mandy. I love that, because I like to be in these rooms, but not distracted, to be able to really listen, like I did to your poem, which I felt was a metaphor for us, really. Wasn't it supposed to be
Yes.
like, we are the tree?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like I would love to read that every day to remind myself that I'm that tree.
Mm.
It reminded me of the poem The Giving Tree, which ends rather oddly, where it's just the tree stump and the boy, and that always kind of it was like a dangling participle. I didn't really understand why it ended that way and what it really meant. But to just leave that where that is, I have a friend who's 92. She just turned, and she's like a second mother to me. And I said, well, Ange, I would like to send you something, to show my appreciation. And she said, oh, just write me a poem. And I was like, oh, shoot, So I thought about hiring you to write a poem for her. And I thought, well, I'll just give you a bunch of adjectives and things about her. And then I thought, well, maybe I could write a poem. And you've basically today answered my question about how to write a poem. So if I could go through this short list that I have with you, you listen to Joel Goldsmith, whom I love too, and you focus on one line, and then you sit still and you meditate, and you let the poem bubble up, and then you let the rhyming words come up, and then you write down the lines.
Yeah, it's I mean, I listen to Joel just about every day, I would say. So it's not that I'm listening for something and thinking I want to write a poem. It's just that if I'm listening and he happens to say something that I think, oh wow, and I've heard it in a new way, then it quite often makes me want to really expand on it. So first of all, what I might do on my notes app on the phone, I might just write some key notes that I got from that talk, and then quite often that will then suddenly want to make itself into a poem. So yes, it's what you said. It's what you said, really. But it's just that I don't know that's going to happen. It's something that I've heard. Yeah, I think the first thing is I write a few notes about it that really um and then it just begs me to make it into a poem, you see. And so, Mary, I just know because you love this lady, and and you can use this app called Rhyme Zone. And if you can't find the app, there's a website. They have a website, Rhyme Zone. And you can just try out. First of all, you just think of what you want to say. And then if you know that at the end of that line you've got what I call a hard word, a challenging word to rhyme with, like the word world, God, these aren't words you would put at the end. You just switch that line around so that you've got a word that you know is easily rhymable at the end of the line, you see. So I would love to hear what you come out with, and so would you love to hear what you come out with.
I would, but like it comes naturally to you. For me, I just I it doesn't seem like it's going to be easy, but let me just get you right on this, or get straight about this. So I might write a bunch of words about this woman. When you're writing about somebody, do you write some adjectives down about them?
Yeah, that's absolutely great place to start. What you love about how they make you feel,
Well, and thank you, Mary, because we are planning to do regular workshops for writing power poems. So thanks to you, we're going to get right on it, right, Mandy?
Yes, well, I've been waiting for you to be ready, Joni. So we'll do that. Yeah, but anyway, the thing is, Mary, and anybody can do this. I am very happy to not. Don't think that I'm an authority on it. I only write my own power poems. But if you should like to, I would be only too happy if anybody would just WhatsApp me or email me with their little offering. So if you've got a little 4-liner poem or 6 or whatever it is, Mary, just send it to me, and I'm sure it'll be perfect. I wouldn't want to change it, but there might be some little tweaks that we can make to make it have that rhythm or something. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Oh, so thank you, Mary. Thank you for that. Yeah. And Rafi. Hi, Rafi.
Yes, I'm just blown away how all of this leads to one place. The only purpose we're in this dream, the only purpose that we're here for is to wake up from it, and how all of what you're saying gets us to that stillness. Creativity. You can't create and think at the same time. Thinking is the enemy. Okay. Listening. You can't listen and think at the same time. You have to be releasing. You can't release and think at the same time. What releasing does is empty out all the feelings, so you get to the everything gets you to the quiet. If you pay attention to it, everything gets you to the stillness. Everything gets you to that place that is beyond thought, that is beyond mind, where the reality is. And and all I'm listening to, all I'm hearing, all I'm getting in touch with is this is one way to do it. There's another way to do it. Oh, there's another way to do it. There's another way to do it. Are we being divinely guided or what? I mean, it's just astounding. And and everything that everybody says is another way of, oh, there's another path to quiet. There's another path to stillness. And the whole point is to transcend mind, quiet the mind, quiet all of that ego thought, consciousness, not consciousness, but that victim mentality and stuff, and get to the quiet so we can know the truth of what I am. And it's just amazing. I didn't realize there were that many venues, and all I'm hearing now are more venues. Woo!
Oh, yes, there's countless ways, and nobody has the onus on it. Nobody has the right way, because it can only ever be the right way for you, and then that'll change. That change. I mean, yeah, in this tape by Joel, it was just talking about the consciousness of the truth always being fresh. That we and that's probably why I don't want to keep going back to my book. I mean, I do when I think I've got a thought that matches one of the poems in the book, then I love to do the poems from the book. But I keep getting fresh inspiration, and I don't actually, well, I'm not consciously asking for it, but I'm given it, and we all are. And he was just sort of saying that, yes, we've got all these books and everything, but we never want truth to be uniform. Don't rely on the same truth over, and everything's fresh every moment, every day. And we limit ourselves if we just get stuck on the same pages, however many ways there are to look at that thing. And with truth, of course, every time we go into it, we see another aspect of it. That's true, but there's nothing like the here and now. And just when I was when this particular video was finishing and I was getting ready to come on here, then I went in the kitchen and it ran on, you see, into the next video, which was Eckhart Tolle, who I love, and he was just saying that when he had, his big awakening, he just said, I've heard him describe it and everything that's happened to him countless times, but I hadn't heard him say this before, don't think. I heard him say that all his thoughts stopped. Yes, I think we all know that all his thoughts just stopped, and that was great. But he did not know, that's what he said in this one today. He did not know why he was so peaceful. And it took him 2 years until he bumped into a Zen monk and explained it. And he said, but I don't know why I'm so peaceful. And the Zen monk said, because you're not thinking, you're not listening to your thoughts.
And it's all about now.
Yeah, it's all about it. But he didn't realize that. I mean, isn't it funny that he didn't realize, he didn't put the two things together, that because his thoughts stopped, that's why he was peaceful. I just found that interesting. Anyway, Joni, you've got your hand up.
I was just looking at the time and thought maybe we could have a couple people, read it. I like it when we read it at least 3 times, like if it ends with you and maybe somebody else.
Sure, yes. And I will be sending everybody the poem and the recording that's got the lovely chimes in the back. But yeah, who would like to read the poem to? Is it time to, oh, I see what you mean, it's time to end. It's having such a lovely time. I didn't notice the time. Is there anybody that would like to read it? Did you want to read it, Joni, or would somebody else like to read it?
Dove just raised his hand.
Who did?
Dove.
Okay,
Dove?
Dove.
Oh yes, please,
No.
Dove. Yeah, you read your hand. Oh, you didn't raise. All right.
Does anyone else want to read it?
You muted, Dove.
I do want to say I think it's one of the best I've ever heard.
Oh, and you've got trees behind you in your background, so that's nice.
I would second that. I would second that, Mandy. I flat out love it.
I like the content. The content is really I need do nothing, which is
Yeah,
which is the course's entire story. I need do nothing to be what I am.
yeah, that's the message. That's it. Yeah. Do you want to read it, Dove?
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
right.
hold
Yeah,
on, hold
yeah.
on.
And thanks, Mary. Thank you, what you just said. Thank you.
We know if the music is.
I tell you what, we won't have the music, but not because it doesn't work behind it. You were right. It would just have it maybe after for a minute or two. Joni, thank you.
Okay. I am simply being a tree. I am neither good nor bad. I'm simply being a tree. I'm neither happy or sad. I don't worry about having apples next year. I'm simply being a tree. I have no fear. God in the midst of me maintains my leaves, and when they drop, I don't suspect thieves. I let them go, knowing they will come again. Their leaving my branches cause me no pain, nor do I anguish about the wind, snow, or rain. I'm simply a tree, so I don't mourn if my fruit gets eaten by birds, by people, if they decay. I'm not beaten, nor am I proud when new fruit appears. This cycle of full and empty's been going on for years. I'm solid in my trunk with roots deep in the ground, and in my stillness, I'm free and unbound. On my branches sit squirrels and birds who rest. They may even use my twigs to make a nest. But I have no preferences. I make no choice. I simply witness. I have no voice. I'm simply a tree and just stand here. All is taken care of. I don't interfere. My fruit comes and goes. The season flows. How I fruit and blossom is in God's domain. He's in the midst of me is always the same. I don't worry that my apples may become pears. None of this is any of my affairs. I'm simply a tree, and I just stand here, and somehow my apples always appear. You're welcome to stand by me and take your fill, or rest up against me, feel my peace, and be still.
Beautifully read, Dove. Beautifully read. Just spot on. Thank you. Lovely. Oh, thank you all. This has been such a fruitful meeting. I've just loved hearing from everybody, and
Would
just
you like to read it again, Mandy?
I think I don't know. I think, have you had enough?
No, 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 no. I was hoping that's
You
why I
want me
gave.
you want me to read it again? I'll read it once more then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as we embody it, hearing it and in different voices and the way you intended it and the way Dove just did it is helpful.
Okay, I'll read it one more, and thank you for inviting me to do that, Joni.
All right,
And
I see
Lynn
it.
has her hand raised.
oh, Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
Oh, so I did not want to read the poem. I wanted to read a poem that I just came through with.
Let's hear.
And it's listening to Mandy's poem about the tree. I pick up my lovely rosary. I see Jesus hanging on his tree. Is it knowledge, love, or life eternally? It's a reflection of who I am, loved and loved through everything I see.
Oh,
Wow.
beautiful. That's lovely. I can feel my heart expanding, Lynn. Thank you. So lovely. I
Thank you.
just so love it when people write their own poems. It's wonderful. Oh, oh, thank you. Okay, I'll finish by reading it then. I am simply being a tree. I am neither good nor bad. I am simply being a tree. I'm neither happy or sad. I don't worry about having apples next year. I'm simply being a tree. I have no fear. God in the midst of me maintains my leaves. And when they drop, I don't suspect thieves. I let them go, knowing they will come again. Their leaving my branches causes me no pain. Nor do I anguish about the wind, snow, or rain. I'm simply a tree, so I don't mourn if my fruit gets eaten by people or birds. If they decay, I'm not beaten. Nor am I proud when new fruit appears. This cycle of full and empty has been going on for years. I'm solid in my trunk, with roots deep in the ground, and in my stillness, I'm free and unbound. On my branches sit squirrels and birds who rest. They may even use my twigs to make a nest. But I have no preferences. I make no choice. I simply witness. I have no voice. I'm simply a tree, and I just stand here. All is taken care of. I don't interfere. My fruit comes and goes. The season flows. How I fruit and blossom is in God's domain. He in the midst of me is always the same. I don't worry that my apples may become pears. None of this is any of my affairs. I am simply a tree, and I just stand here. Can you just move it up a bit, Joni? I can't quite see. Sorry, I'm spoiling it now. Right, I'll read that last bit again. Thank you. I am simply a tree, and I just stand here. And somehow my apples always appear. You are welcome to stand by me and take your fill, or rest up against me. Feel my peace and be still. So before we go, whenever your mind starts to, for all of us, I say it to me just as much, whenever our mind starts to go, just, you only have to think, I am a tree. I am a tree. It's a really good one, that one. I am a tree. Because now we've read this together, the soul of the tree. Then as soon as we say, I am a tree, we know exactly what that means. I mean, there can't be anything more still. It's not subject to movement. It's just still. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, so, so, so much. Yeah. And hopefully see you all or anyone else you want to bring next week.